Ready to go, Judge.
Good morning, everyone. Today is Wednesday, September 30th, the year 2025. It is 10 a.m. We are at the Presidio County Courthouse in Marfa, Texas. This is a regular meeting of the Presidio County Commissioners Court. I'll call the meeting to order, and I would ask Mr. Daniel to verify our quorum.
County Judge Joseph Pacquiao Jr.
Present.
Commissioner Precinct 1, Dario Heisler.
Here.
Commissioner Precinct 2, Manuel Hernandez.
Here.
Commissioner Precinct 3, Frankie Ortiz.
And Commissioner Ortiz called me yesterday. He had something that came up and he's not going to be able to make it.
Commissioner Precinct 4, David Beebe.
Present.
You have a quorum.
Thank you so much. If you would stand for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Open it up to public comments. Again, if you have public comments, present or online, if you would please, just state your name and where you're from, and we'll give you your 5 minutes.
Would I just introduce myself? I'm Felipe Cordero Jr. And I'm here on behalf of the Marfa Law Commission, and we're here to be a part of today's visit. Thank you.
Welcome. Any other public comments? Any public comments online? All right, we'll move on to routine agenda items. And I don't see Mrs. Arevalo here, but I don't know how she always ends up at the very back. I'm hoping that we can move hers up. I know that she's short-staffed. And they've got a lot of work to do. Unless somebody else was presenting for her. So agenda item number 1, discussion and take action to approve budget amendments and or line item transfers.
Yes, sir. So we do have line item transfers. The first one's to the county and district clerk overtime budget, $165.90 from office expenses, and this is to cover the executive assistant overtime. County attorney, to do some membership, $63 from capital to cover the attorney dues. District court, to service contract licenses, $448.91. From other services, this is to cover their monthly subscription costs. Tax office to fuel, $250 from other services. And $87.83 to furniture and equipment, and this is to cover fuel, the cost of fuel and the headset that they purchase for their office. To the auditor's office, to overtime, $7.90 from labor. Office expenses, $66.11 to cover office supplies, and $2,165.44 to cover the auditor's fall conference. To the courthouse budget, to repairs and maintenance equipment, $50 from repairs and maintenance buildings and grounds. To cover tire installation for the mower. To Constable 1, to communications, $100 from uniform to cover the cell phone costs. To Road and Bridge, fuel line, $5,824.06. From operating supplies to cover fuel costs for the remainder of the fiscal year. Road and Bridge repair and maintenance equipment, $697.22. To cover the hydraulic posters for the wheel loader. And Road and Bridge utilities, $200 to cover the utilities cost. Vizcaíno, $150 to fuel for repairs and maintenance buildings and grounds to cover the fuel costs. The airport, to Marfa Utilities, $300 from Utilities Presidio to cover the Marfa Airport utilities costs. Airport capital outlay, $4,900 from furniture and equipment, and routine maintenance Presidio and repairs and maintenance vehicle, and this is to cover the fridge and a sofa for the lounge at the Lely Airport in Presidio. The sheriff's office, overtime line, $5,500 from the salary deputies to cover overtime costs, and the last one's to the golf course. To repairs and maintenance equipment, $11,000. $7,000 for repairs and maintenance buildings and grounds Vizcaíno, and $4,000 repair and maintenance equipment Vizcaíno line. This is to cover various mower fixes, equipment repairs, and well pump repairs.
Make a motion to accept the line item transfers as presented by the auditor.
Second.
I have a motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
It's a tough when you're moving $7.19 at the
Yes.
end of fiscal year. You can
Yes.
tell that we're gonna get to the end of the show on fumes.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any budget
I
amendments?
do not have any budget.
All right, then move on to agenda item number 3, discuss and take action to approve the auditor's monthly report.
Yes, I emailed you the report along with the jail report and our tax collections report up to date. So let me know if you guys have any questions. On any other stuff.
I move that we approve the auditor's monthly report.
I'll second.
I have a motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Agenda item number 3, discuss and take action to approve the treasurer's list of claims and bids.
Good morning, Commissioners, Judge, the amount of bills, they were. Yes, Commissioners, this one is $195,000, $171.90. Routine bills, nothing out of the ordinary.
Well, I've reviewed this, so I'm gonna move that we approve the treasurer's list of claims and bills.
I will do it as well. I'll second.
I have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Discuss and take action to approve the treasurer's monthly report.
Commissioners, Judge, I will, at the top of your report, I know I did have July 2025, I just forgot to change that. But this is August 2025, the general fund checking is $1,819,821.73. Debits and withdrawals for the month of August is $627,264.50. Monies coming into that account that have been receipted is $199,250.79. The end balance for August 2025, $1,291,808.05.
So other than the date, everything's up to speed. Correct.
I'm gonna move that we approve the treasurer's monthly report.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
I guess we'll just change the date.
Yes.
And then we have discuss and take action to approve commissioners' court minutes. And they're the minutes for August 7th, August 13th, August 18th, August 20th, and August 27th.
The minutes for August 13th are not included, so it's just the others.
Okay,
So I've reviewed these and I am going to move that we approve the minutes for August 7th, August 18th, August 20th, and August 27th.
I will do this as well. I'll second that motion.
motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Agenda item number 6, updates and reports from Lone Star Strategy.
Morning, Judge Commissioners, so it's actual final report. Basically, what we're looking at right now, we currently don't have it pending. It's actually an agenda item, so I'll leave that to later. But just to give a brief overview, that is the grant that was tabled from last meeting. And there's some changes, for example, the total pool of funds, instead of the other amount that I gave, it's actually now 90,000. That's the total pool of funds, and it's for the exact same solid waste grant program. Other reports, additional reports as in the other work that we're doing, cybersecurity grant, government and planning. Unfortunately, we did not get that one, that one's going for approximately 25,000. But we are grateful that we do have the mitigation one, currently, working. So number two, cybersecurity mitigation, this is the one that we currently have. Again, it's just continuing the implementation of software and security. You may have heard around 2 weeks ago or so, Nueces County was hit with a cyber attack and they had to fork out $2 million. So this really shows that importance to have it. Number three is the RLEM grant. We're continuing with that one, any work that needs to be done, assisting meetings. NACO is working with a September 12th deadline for sub-grant approval. And then lastly, I did attend the solid waste grant program workshop that was held here in Marfa at the Kasner Room. With Ms. Marisa Quintana. And if I may add, on the cybersecurity mitigation, we're actually closing up to sort of the deadline, well, not deadline, but the actual program close. That one will close on the October 31st. So for next meeting, what I will do is actually compile and work with the vendor to get a report on what was done, why it was done, and when it was. Are there any questions?
Yeah, that's the question. So the ROPM, the sub-grant approval. You said the sub-grant approval, what is the sub-grant? What does that mean? I don't understand it.
Yeah, so the sub-grant approval, it's basically whatever the project is focused on, they just want to get it finalized. And it's submitted for approval. From there, we should look at those release of funds.
Right, but that's what I'm asking, whatever the project is, can you tell me whatever the project is?
Yeah, so probably just for Theo can chime in a bit, but we actually changed gears for that one. You want
Yeah, we had, you guys were present at the last meeting, there's some, PMDD has some things going on. So they kind of stepped back. We refocused with, Meredith Whitehead and NACO. And number two in the burner was the railroad. So what we're gonna focus on is, railroad jobs. So this is gonna be, the monies are gonna be spent, getting with Texas Pacific. And identifying certifications required to get, job opportunities for welds. There's specific welding that takes place with the cars, track maintenance, rail car maintenance. Sign maintenance, so all the jobs, all these sub jobs that are gonna be needed. With the rail from Brasilia to probably Fort Stockton, is how do we find a local workforce and get them trained up and certified to start with those jobs? The last time I talked with Texas Pacific, they're telling me that and there's a lot of work going on there right now. But they're telling me we should see the first rail cars in January. So, and they're expecting between 1 and 2 rail cars a day.
Actually, I heard the limited to 2 per week in each direction, is what I got from Stan.
Okay.
So that's a different, but I wanna ask, who's gonna run this grant now that PMDD is stepping out? Of this deal, who's running it? Are we running it through our auditor's office or who runs, how does this get run?
So the way it works, so ever since the beginning, even when PMDD was starting to get involved. The way it works is that the applicants, for example, right now, Lone Star Strategy Group and the county judge. The way it would work is that Lone Star Strategy Group would actually help facilitate as much as needed. And that's basically the plan for it. In the sub-grant, you actually have, Lone Star or whoever it is, currently me as the point of contact to facilitate whatever is needed.
So,
Right,
so
but-
that, yeah, eventually,
Just-
I think I know where you're going.
Yeah, you know.
So eventually, there'll have to be some sort of project manager. I will tell you, it hasn't been posted, there's nothing put out. I have talked with Brad Newton. I don't know if you know Brad Newton. So Brad Newton used to be the PMDD director. And he was very active in the rail project and getting it to where it is. So I've had conversations with him. Of course, he's retired, he's living in Fort Stockton. But I think it's kind of unique that he has that experience with Texas Pacific, he knows everybody there. He has a love for the rail, I mean, he happens to be in Fort Stockton, but. The biggest impact for the railroad is gonna be from Vesuvius to San Angelo. And he's right smack in the middle. Nothing like Mr. Rodriguez was saying, nothing is said. As a matter of fact, we just got the preliminary plan, did that come in yesterday?
No, not yet.
I think I saw a letter, an email from Meredith. I think she sent us some bullet points.
Yeah, so I sent out some bullet points, basically she wants to get more office hours, et cetera. Again, that deadline, that's September 12th deadline for the sub-grant agreement, and then to answer your question, Commissioner Beebe, we're actually not. Completely changing it, it's still focusing on that workforce development.
Yes, right. My question was actually not that question. My question is who runs the grant? I mean, you get the grant. And then, you know, who runs the grant, once it gets in there, I know that we're talking about people who might have. You know, might spearhead the grant, might be the point of contact for the grant, but who's actually running the paperwork and the money? And it's coming through Presidio County is what I understand, which is what we're talking about here. So we didn't bolster up our auditor's office in this last budget because. We didn't feel the need to do that, I say that's not including me. And so I'm very wary about like, you know, putting more tasks on an office that has not been augmented. Although this is a small grant, it's not, the money is not what takes the work, it's the time and the hassle. So I didn't get an answer, so I'd like to know who's running the grant.
Judge, if I may just, Commissioner Beebe, if I may just explain, the other office, the only work we do with the grants. Sometimes we should just do financials. Financials do have to run through my office. I am not sure who's managing.
I think the term is grant administrator in this case.
Right,
Like a project director.
administration, all the paperwork, all the money, everything, all the reports, everything from start to finish, who does it?
Yeah, well, the first thing I think that we wanna get done is actually that sub-grant agreement, because once from there, we actually sit down and actually look at all of that scope and who does what. But what I will do is actually, I'll go ahead and get in contact and I'll look at that question, I'll get an answer.
Right, because I don't know that, you know, if we can't run it, we can't run it. And so before we commit to this new shift in gears, this is the first I've heard of it. I don't have a problem with it either. I'm totally pro railroad jobs, we obviously need to do this kind of stuff. It's just a matter of can this agency, can this office, can this shrinking county government handle this type of situation? I don't think we can. That's the whole thing with all these grants. I think we've sent a message to the community that we're not gonna do these optional projects anymore. And so this is, to me, it's not optional from a economic development standpoint, but the PMDD has stepped back. I'm not sure why. It just, there's a red flag here for me at this point, so I'd like to see some actual data, and I'd like to see some actual answers on who's administering the grant from start to finish and how's it gonna work without interfering with our current operations, because clearly we can't handle anything more than what we're doing now, or else it would be taking the steps we're taking in other segments of our operations. That's just my opinion. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, everybody can agree with me or disagree, that's fine, but I'm not, you know, this is not. If we're gonna pick and choose, it's not really fair, we gotta go one way or the other. Cut down and do without the things that sounds like I want that versus I need that, what's you, Judge? I want that versus I need it, what we got? No, I'm not impressed with the pick and choose.
Well, and we're as you all know, I've had an issue with this grant for some time. And it's more about, like, you're talking about bulleted points. Well, in the commissioner's court votes on things, we kind of need to know what it is. So why aren't all the commissioners receiving those bulleted points about what the project is?
So,
And let me chime in first. We've been laser focused on geothermal. And I still think it's.
On what? Laser focused?
Geothermal.
Oh, right, yes.
The geothermal was the project. you know that, I
do.
guess the noise that's going around.
I did.
And it was one of those things where the PMDD director says, I don't know that I can handle this anymore, we have a whole drama going on.
Right.
So this all happened in the last, probably since our last meeting,
Right.
probably in the last 7 or 8 days. We've had a couple of meetings with Meredith and with NACO. Both, we've had Zoom meetings. Like I mentioned, I think when was our last meeting? Was it Friday? It was Friday. I think it was Friday and we didn't get out till 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. And I'm telling you, I'm pretty sure I got an email in my queue. And I wanna say it came in either Monday or Tuesday. But I'll go back and I'll send it to you, and it has all these things, that all these eyes that we're trying to.
Right.
What about this? What about this? Right now, we're on our back heels.
Right.
Eventually, like Mr. Park mentioned, it will have a project manager, we'll have an administrator. And they'll work with our auditor and our treasurer to make sure that that what we need is satisfied on the back end.
Yeah, Joe.
The focus is job creation. And I don't know if you could print that out now, Ms. Nunez.
Well, as long as we get it, Joe, the bottom line is transparency. And it seems like with all these grants, they're either last moment or there's a shapeshift, and I understand shapeshifting, believe me. So I just feel that it's prudent that all the commissioners are getting the same information so that we can make good decisions. Yeah.
Do you need copies?
Yes, Judge.
Thank you for the
You okay?
If I may add, I think that, it's important that, we're working with that deadline. And at every report, we try to, give you as much information as possible. But we've also had, NACO, we've had Meredith be on our Zoom meetings. We've had Maddie present, this has been brought up various times, and then with times, to actually ask questions and all that. So right now, due to that factor that we have to change that, I guess not scope, but rather, that's kind of the deadline we're working. So once we get that, up and ready to go, we'll come and give you all that information.
Yeah.
Or additional info.
So my bottom line is transparency and inclusiveness. That's what I'm asking.
I think the thing was is, again, I understand.
Right.
All this has happened in real time in a matter of 7 days. Maybe less than 7 days, but roughly. So, this is us just catching it. There's another page here.
Oh.
So there's no super secret stuff going on, where we're trying to keep you out of the loop, or we're trying to keep you in the blind, or. It's just stuff happens and you keep moving and I get fixed. You got a copy? So. Now, my understanding with the grant, is once it's accepted in its final form, this is the first draft. This might even be a touch of the second draft. But once it's accepted, my understanding is that the county will get a check for 50,000. And they'll expect reports. But other than that, the money just comes into the budget, into the county, and we manage it. They're not gonna be looking at us with a microscope, with microscope.
Well, I know this was kind of a gift, right?
Yeah.
And I get that, but I just want to make sure that, we have a line item for this money?
No, we won't do it until we get the money.
Okay.
Then we'll do a budget amendment. We can't budget amendments.
I just say we open it up, Joe, and make sure that everyone gets the same information as on the same.
Yeah. Fair enough. So do I have somebody from the tax assessor's office? were you gonna present for Miss Aaron?
Yes, sir, she.
Yeah, do you guys mind if I bounce all the way to 21? I know you guys are short staffed, I know you guys got a lot of work, and I don't want, because sometimes we have. Inside Evelyn, and children here the whole day. So I want you to be able to get back to work. So does anybody have any beef if we kind of bounce around? Nope. All right, so let's move to agenda item number 21, discussion with action to approve an interlocal cooperative bid for tax assessment and collection. How are you? Okay,
We received almost all of them except the water district. They said in their next meeting, I think it's towards the end of September. They will sign them, but they have agreed.
so
Did you get any feedback from the hospital district or the city? No, they just, I mean, I was just asking, I was the one that asked them to please. Understand, I just, you got no negative feedback?
No, sir.
Okay, then you give me any, I'm just checking, because I want, thank you.
We did get the rate of 275, 7.5% for your advice, and they all accepted. She's at water district just needs to sign.
Sorry to put you in position, I appreciate it.
That's
so they haven't, the water district, they just haven't approved it yet.
yes.
They're aware of it,
They are aware of it.
they'll pass it at their hands.
Yes.
And you need me to time, you need.
Yeah, they only do once a month, so I think it's harder. for
Yeah,
them.
I think it's towards the end of the month, they're meeting.
So do we have a copy of this contract in our drive?
Oh, but here they are.
These are the same ones we had before,
Yeah.
remember we changed the rate from 3% to 7.5%.
That's right.
It's
Right.
reflecting on,
Yeah,
this is still actually generous because we're actually experiencing about 10% rise in costs. But we're trying to work with our partners and not just try to gouge everybody, we're taking gouged.
Clarify some.
No, those are totally different. Those are the ones I did, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
The last.
These are the new ones.
Yeah, they've been revised to be.
Yes,
The
I
last.
completely
Yeah,
get
the
this.
warning was.
Yes,
For those of us non-attorneys, the effect is the same.
yes,
So
generally, yes.
I tend to do my homework and like to review stuff before I'm approving. So
Yeah.
this.
I don't know why, but that's.
Yeah, right, these are the most for,
Do
these
we
are
have
good.
to sign it today?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. You should.
So we're only
Well,
hearing about.
No, ma'am, you haven't.
No, I know, I remember the meeting when we discussed all that.
Yeah, we sent revisions,
Oh,
we
right.
got contracts from Blair, there's other revisions that we did and I submitted them to Nancy, those are the ones Nancy got from me,
Right.
and she resent them to all the entities. So they're what you guys approved,
Yeah, these have been in the works for a couple of months. These are all good. These are mine.
and we need to start invoicing those entities.
And we only need my signature, right?
Correct. It has to be approved here, but they only need, well, yours and Battles.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's your signature and. Signature.
okay.
Okay, I'm gonna make a motion, but I also wanna make a statement is that it's really helpful to this commissioner. To be able to review things thoroughly, and I do the work. So, I don't know when that got finalized through Blair's office.
I drafted these a month and a half ago.
And then I made some changes.
And yeah, the only thing that needed finalizing were the final charge numbers, so I did the form of the contracts. So I think
And the number.
it was like in
Like-
July, yeah, and then
Right.
the numbers were left.
I do believe you
Kind of.
actually saw that, we did see that.
I saw
Yeah.
those,
Okay.
but
And then there was
I'm
like
making a
one-
point here
understand.
is that. We cannot just approve blindly, and I like to see the real documents. So I'm gonna make a motion to approve this, but
On the drive commission?
No.
On the drive?
I'm not seeing it, where would it be?
No,
I hate Google Drive.
I don't see anything.
Oh, it wasn't submitted.
Oh, I thought it was.
No, it's not here. So all I'm doing is making a statement, and if you can just, and I'm not picking on the tax assessor and collector's office, believe me. But you know, it's nice, usually the agendas come out on Friday. And then we have the whole weekend to not only review, but we as commissioners can go do our homework. And I do my homework. So now I'm sitting there going, well, what am I looking at? So I'm just making that point for everyone, whoever wants to hear it. So I will move that we approve an interlocal cooperation agreement for tax assessment and collection.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second, all in favor,
Alright,
Aye.
and I'll get these signed over and I'll give it to them. And I'll make sure they get back. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll move back to the regular agenda. Agenda item number 7, discussion with action to approve the job posting with Presidio County Veterans County Service Officer.
Okay, folks, as y'all well know that there was a possibility of us losing this position during the budgetary process. I think we all came to our senses and realized how important it is. So what I have done is I have drafted this job posting. And it has been reviewed by the auditor. And I sent it, it's in the drive, y'all all have had time to review it. But I would like to get this posting in both the Presidio and the Sentinel papers so that we can start receiving letters of interest or applications and get that position filled. I've also been contacted by the Texas Veterans Commission. And they're waiting for us to fill this position so that we can get whoever is the lucky winner of this job through they have to get background checks, they have to get drug tested, and then they'll have to receive training from the Texas Veterans Commission. You'll notice on there in this job posting that we're really wanting to get our VCSO accreditations so that they can actually do the work that a VCSO is supposed to. And what that means is they have to work at least 1,000 hours a year. And then on top of that, they will have access to the system. A lot of times, VCSOs just, take the information, then they have to go work with the Veterans Affairs folks. This way, our officer will be able to actually get the information out of the system and work with the veterans so that they get more of a rapid response on whatever their claims or needs are. So you have all that. I think it's been on the drive for a while, and I am just asking y'all to approve the job posting and let's move forward.
Questions?
Make a motion to approve the job posting for the Veterans Service Officer position in the City of County.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye. Thank you.
Agenda item number 8, discussion with action to accept the FY26 routine maintenance airport maintenance grants for both the Marfa and Presidio airports.
Chase online?
Yes, I'm here. Yes.
Chase, okay.
Okay, so
Well-
this is the same thing we've been doing for, I think this will be the 16th year. The only thing that's changed in the last couple of years is that it went from a 50-50 grant to a 90-10, and the amount increased significantly. And so we've been doing our best to take advantage of that. And the routine airport maintenance program allows for a lot more flexibility and leeway, and there's strict guidelines what it can be used for, but we don't have to involve engineering firms and all that kind of stuff that takes years. The only thing is I sent the printable copies And in past years, they've always been signed with ink, and then we upload, the signed copies. And if you want to do it that way, I'm happy to help with that. Or if you just want to approve it, I think either Alicia or I can go in and accept it in e-grants. But that's up to you guys how you want to handle that.
Okay, Chase, and the amount is $111,111.11.
The grant amount is 100,000, and the match amount is 11,111. So the total amount that we would expend is 111, but the actual grant amount is 100,000 per airport.
Just a note to the public, since we got public here
Right,
on
that's what I'm-
and in person. It's important for everybody to understand that the airport budget is separate from the general fund budget. It's completely separate, self-sustained, okay? The reason that is because in order to accept federal grants, and all the FAA grants are administered through TxDOT Aviation. And Chase does all the grant writing and all the grant administration, and he turns everything into the Alicia's office, so we talk about. This is the guy who does the work. And he answers to me, to the commissioner's court, but generally, he's been communicating to me because I have an interest in the airports. And now that Deirdre is present, he communicates to Deirdre about the Lely Airport, which is in. But just to let you know, the airports, most of the airport money is provided by grants. The way we get money for the airport matching. Larger grants for capital improvements is by fuel sales. Our profits on fuel sales, and we also charge land leases for hangars. So the airport fund by grant requirements cannot be rated by the county. We can't take money out. We can put money in if we want to, but we don't. The airports are self-sustaining, and that's why sometimes we can't always spend the maximum amount of money. Luckily, in the last, I don't know how many years, Chase, 6, 7, 8, we've been able to sit out because we actually had. We got we have staff that work out there, as you know. But this is when we talk about the airports, it's not the same thing as anything else we talk about because it is essentially like a separate organization. And that's the only way we can get the grant. We can't mix and match. So I want to let y'all know because there's questions like, why do we do airports and we don't do golf course, right? It's a different world. And I'm ready to know that. And this is the guy who runs the grants. That's what his job is. We call him the airports director. He's not on site. He handles TxDOT Aviation, he handles FAA, he oversees the employees there. Sometimes he is on site, but he generally lives in Sonora. So he's not around full time to do it. But what he does is he deals with the FAA, compliance, grant administration, grant achievement, like finishing it, tying them up, putting a bow on it, getting all the money, dealing with the fuel sales and dealing with the fuel reorders and all these things to keep track of inventory, etc. So that's what this is about when we talk about airports. It's a different world. So I want to let y'all know because there's always a question like, why do we have this and we don't have this? Because the state and feds have told us this is the way, if we want to do airports, we do it this way. Luckily for us, the airports make us money. But we don't get to put that into the county general fund. We're not permitted to take it back. So we do this for economic development, for public safety. I want to let y'all know, because every year we need to go through it, remind, because I know this, but I know that most people don't. And y'all need to know, if you're here, thank you for coming, try to keep you informed.
Oh, the master plans online?
The airport master plan, I believe, is online. It's not on our website, the PSA plan. Chase?
I don't think it's online. I mean, I can certainly make it available, but I don't have access to post it on the county website.
Well, I'll tell you what, once we get to that state of affairs, when we deal with the website, when we gotta do it ourselves, I'll be happy to put up an airports page and try to manage it. Maybe that's something low risk that I can do.
So
okay, and
this,
if you don't mind, there's something I'd like to add to what Commissioner Beebe said, and everything he said is correct about the self-sustaining capability of the airport. But the reason we have the airports is because they bring people in that do business in our communities, and TxDOT Aviation every few years does an economic impact study, and they just started a new one. But it amounts to millions of dollars that flow into the community. It's kind of like you can easily understand how having a highway run through town brings in business. Well, an airport is another form of transportation infrastructure that performs a similar function. So that's why we do it, is because of the amount of people that come into the community that don't live in the county that conduct business there, and that can be in terms of construction projects, hotel stays, restaurants, car rentals. They spend a lot of money in our communities. The money we're talking about as far as the county budget is just our operating and development expenses, but there's a much larger impact that is the economic impact on our county, especially in Marfa, but also in Presidio.
I want to point out that the Presidio Airport was essentially non-functional as recently as 12 or 13 years ago. When we brought it back to provide good services. Chase, can you give me a ballpark number of the percent increase in fuel sales and activity at the Presidio Airport in the last?
Well, you can't give a percent because it was zero, and but we had about a 40-fold increase in traffic. In other words, if you look at the number of people operating out of the Presidio Airport in 2010, it's probably about 40 times more now, including we went from about one international arrival a year to now, I think I'm sorry, I'm making up a number here, but it's 80 to 100. So a significant change there.
I looked at the number, Chase, it is 80, I think it was 89 the last time I looked at it, so the designation international airport isn't just the name that's up there, it's actually does have traffic that comes in from Mexico. And just there, when we come across the river, an airplane has to look there, and they land, and they submit to a full inspection by Customs and Border Protection, so. And I know that traffic's going up as well.
That's correct.
So all of this to say, David pointed out, the airport has no problem meeting that match, correct? The 10th? Okay, so you're doing okay with that?
Yes.
Now, these are separate grants, one for Marfa and one for Lele, or is it
That's correct. They're two separate grants. That's right.
So is each one for 111,000?
That's correct. Yes, ma'am, that is correct.
Okay.
9 pennies for every dollar.
Yeah, so in other words,
so it's
9 pennies for everything.
Right. Okay. That's all I wanted to make sure that
yes.
both are.
I'll point out that over the years, previous commissioners' courts have not neglected the Lele Airport. I just want to put it on the record. Even though we've been meeting here in Marfa, we don't neglect parts of the county just because they're not here.
That's I can attest to that.
Karen?
Okay, I just wanted to know who's gonna sign them.
Well, we can do it, I usually do it online, or Chase can do it
Okay,
online,
did you want, okay, I'm just making sure it's right, we don't have a commissioner sign it.
but whatever you guys wanna do.
That's fine, I'm fine with the airport director or yourself as the auditors. It's agreeable to TxDOT.
So I'm gonna move before we start signing. That we accept the FY 26 routine airport maintenance grant ramp. For both Marfa Municipal and Presidio Lele International Airports.
I'll second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Agenda item number 9. County Clerk Carolina Catania, discussion with action to approve the posting of Commissioner Court minutes, Zoom recordings on the website.
Yes, so, most counties are now doing that. We don't get as many requests for them as some people might think we do. Unless there's something major going on. So we don't really get an income from those. I just thought it would be a good idea to post them on the website.
I asked how to put this in the agenda, because we do charge for them, so it would be up to the commissioners to. Be okay with not receiving that profit.
So if somebody comes in from the general public and they're like, I imagine the newspaper does this often. Hey, can I have a copy of the Zoom meeting? And what is the fee that we charge?
It's $25.
$25. But you're saying right now it's negligible, you maybe get a request 10 times a year, 100 times a year,
If we get maybe $100 a year,
or 4 or 5 requests, less than 12.
yeah, it's not very many.
Okay.
Unless there's something, big going on and commissioners for it, we don't get it. But
How difficult is it to upload them?
Oh, I haven't looked into that yet, but I don't really think, I think it's like just send it, the video to them, it's the, I might have to call it in to explain how I would like it. I would like it put next to make another bar and have the meetings on one side and the video right across from it. So I kind of like something, but I'll have to call them and I'm also going to, speaking of the website next week. Now that I have some downtime, I'm gonna take the training, because they are no longer will be doing the postings for us. So I will have to learn how to do the website. I'm gonna learn, that way I can teach others when they, decided who would like to help me with the website.
Right. Okay.
So the question about storage, so with, review me on how our arrangement is with Zoom. Are we a paid subscriber to Zoom?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we pay for Zoom. Does that allow us to store our meetings on the Zoom servers?
Yes.
Okay, so the links from the website would go to the Zoom servers. You wouldn't upload the whole meeting to the county website. Because I'm talking about storage fees. I don't
Yeah.
want to pay county storage fees for something we're already paying storage fees for on Zoom.
Yes, I download usually after every meeting, I download them so I can give them to Paddle.
Okay.
But then I download them on my drive and then I delete them
From
on
Zoom.
Zoom.
On each.
Cause I have them, yeah, cause I have them in my drive, my computer, Kyle has them on her drive. And then now I'll be sending them to the website, but I don't keep them.
I was gonna say, I don't, but what we don't wanna do is have TAC come back and say,
Yeah.
you're using too much storage, we're gonna pay it
Yeah, no.
$10 here, $20 here,
Oh,
we're spending
for
all
on
the money.
tap to put it, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There should be a link to, if we're already paying for Zoom to store, we shouldn't delete it from Zoom, we should link from TAC to
Well,
Zoom.
Zoom only allows me to collect 5 hours.
Yeah,
Okay, so this is then there's a possible expense with doing this.
yeah.
We need to find out more about this before we commit to this, because this could actually add up to being over the years. If we allow this, if we do this, which I'm for it. I think we should be able to go back
I can
and see
look
what we
into
did,
that and
but
follow
we
that.
need to find out how much it's gonna cost before we make a decision. I'd like to make a motion to postpone this item until next meeting, to get some more information.
I'll second that. I have a motion to postpone, I have a second to postpone. Yeah, I think that's. the
Okay,
way.
let me see.
That's just someone who accidentally.
Okay, so if we have, and I understand what you're saying. Do we have unlimited storage on the site, cloud using, and it looks like the answer is maybe, maybe not, we don't know. I don't know if that 5-hour buffer is just.
Well, we just don't know,
We just don't know.
so we can guess that if we don't know, it's probably gonna cost us something, so we gotta figure it out.
That's
Alright, so I have a motion, I have a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Agenda item number 10, discussion by the county treasurer plus because of the regarding to the approval of a contract with RCI for the fixed asset inventory and management update proposal.
Morning, Commissioners, Judge again. So this is the contract for the actual inventory software. That gets put on actual my computer, it's downloaded to my computer, it's not a cloud. Which I mean, that's gonna make obviously that's sad. But we'll figure something out, but this is the actual contract. That program will be staying in the treasurer's office, in my office.
And I noticed on the pricing, it has The fee includes tagging and scanning for all fixed assets with the original purchase price of 500 or greater. I do know that we've been having discussions about bumping that up.
Yes, I believe Alicia at a later date is gonna come, and
Once we update our
Yes,
policies,
increase.
and then we'll move back.
yes.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
for now, we have to get a handle on what is it that we have.
Yes, sir,
Correct.
absolutely.
So I'm hoping that once it gets cleared up, we'll be taking vehicles off of insurances, we'll be doing a bunch of cleanup. This is exactly, this is what we need. Blair reviewed it, she looked over it, I just had she had a little bit concerned about the termination. But I think the cancellation can happen at any time. We'll have to bring it back every year to renew, and if the court decides not to renew that, then we just won't renew. There we go.
What's it, year to year, you said?
Correct.
Yeah, my only issue with it was that, well, I could tell that a lawyer didn't necessarily draft it, but they called for an option to do an annual service. So if you have any issues, you can call them, and either it's a per incident, $200, or it's a per year that covers all the times you call them for services. And it just said annual, but didn't say anything, like it just went indefinitely. It didn't say anything about how it ends, when it ends, and that was my only question to her is it annual forever and ever?
Oh, right, so when you sign, what are you signing up for?
Right,
Is it
exactly,
just for that term or another term? I get it.
exactly.
And they added that.
Okay.
That it's an annual contract, she terminated at any time of written notice, and I'll have to bring the contract back if the court is like not to, then I'll write a letter to them saying that we're not going to renew.
Well, what do you think? We're
Well,
gonna be running it, so what,
Yeah. yeah, I chose the 850 per year, just because it's something new to me. And I don't wanna mark up a bill of. In 4 months, mark up a bill of $1,000 because I'm having to call every 5 minutes. Looks like we're getting a deal. Yeah.
I think it's a good idea for a year,
For
to
first year.
get the kinks out, and then after you've already got comfortable with the system, then just do
I
the per
agree,
incident.
I'll say that I was here in the JP office last time, RCI did this under the Office of Management and Budget. OMB,
Oh,
and so this is 2015, we came in and tagged everything. We had to round up our inventory, it was an imperfect science, it took a long time, it was difficult. And it was imperfect even when it was finished, and the idea is you come back. When you start 1 year and then the next year you improve. And then you keep track, everything is kept track of, I think the $5,000 limit instead of 500 is absolutely imperative. We
Yeah.
cannot be keeping track.
I'm working on a policy.
Trash, right, trash is trash, so like. But I will say that I think that first year you are gonna experience some real growing pains. And you're gonna need the help, so I think it's wise to go for the 850.
Yeah.
On the first year, it is good, you should, make sure we're not signing up that forever.
No,
Just get some clarification if possible. But if that's the case, I'm for it.
Chris is actually on Zoom. Chris, are you there? If anybody has questions, I just had him zoom in. He's right there.
Yes, good morning.
Morning.
Morning, Judge, morning, Commissioners. So the proposal is for a complete fixed asset inventory, and you are correct, it's value of all the assets valued at 500 or greater. Obviously, that will include your cap assets that are valued at 5,000 and above. Cap assets I'm referring to are those assets that have to be depreciated according to GASB and kind of de facto across the US for governmental accounting standards is tracking and depreciating assets that are valued at 5,000 and above. So when we do a complete inventory down to the lower threshold of $500 and above, obviously those capitalized assets are completed and are part of that inventory set that we provide. I would also add a comment to you guys regarding the tech support that you guys were just referring to, the annualized tech support. That's a recurring, it bills annually. You can stop it at any time that you wish, right? But that's that $850 that would recur annually. The other proposal or the other item in the proposal was for training. If you are going to be using the software in a very detailed manner internally to keep up with and move and account for your assets as new assets are acquired, new assets are disposed, assets are moved, location changes. If you're going to use the software that we provide to the county for free, then you may want to take advantage of the training so you know how to use the software. If you're not going to use it very heavily, you may not need to use that training. And you may not even need the tech support. It just depends upon how often you're going to be utilizing the software that we provide along with our physical inventory services. A lot of institutions will take our data that we provide to them. We provide it in our software, but they will take it out of our software and put it into their own accounting module. And if that's going to be what the county does, then there may not be a whole need for that support and for the training. However, if you are going to use our software, then those things would obviously make more sense for you.
To go. Go big or go home, I think right now.
It's gonna be in your office, right?
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned, Chris, word depreciation, and it's one of those things we've never recognized here. And we buy something and we buy a printer and it's, $501 or hell, even $200. And then we put it as a capital asset, knowing that it's probably gonna have a shelf life of less than 2 years. And then we're still carrying it on the books. And it's
You don't do that. That's not correct.
Yeah, that's.
It's not, you made stuff up.
no,
You gotta make stuff up.
here's the thing, when I first came on, I'm gonna tell you, I walked in that jail.
Yeah, you know what you saw.
That jail was full of computers.
And they're all depreciated off the books.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, there was no mechanism to disposition, it was full.
Correct.
The reason we got RCI, even 2 years ago, we got RCI was because we had documents that we should have shredded 10, 15, 20 years ago.
Correct, different
And we
issue.
had them on the book. Well, it's the same.
Different issue. Same company, different issue.
Yes, and, okay,
You're telling me something I know. I've been here longer than you have. I know what I'm talking about. You're talking about two different things. You're making stuff up. I don't even know why.
Well, here's where I go, here's the things that I've seen through my jaundiced eyes. I've seen vehicles that are non-operational, they don't have a transmission, they don't have an engine. We might get to it, we may not get to it, it sits there, it collects dust, rusty, and we're paying insurance.
Mhm.
Tell me where that makes no sense.
I agree.
Well, that's all we're
That's not
talking,
the same.
that's all we're talking about.
That's not actually what we're talking
We're
about.
talking about, we have a system in place, we're trying to make it better. Step one was last year, the year before, when we got RCI to come in and look at just our documents.
Disposal of
What is the retention record? How long do you have to keep this? How long do we have to?
Not capital value.
No,
Different thing.
and now we're
It's not
on
the
to
same
phase,
thing.
now we're on to phase 2.
Same company, different job. That's right, that's correct, so that's right. Now you're saying something that's correct.
Yeah.
So I will add that, I
Clarify.
think that, if. If I can really learn the system and get it down to a T, then when the auditor is gonna reconcile assets,
It
her
makes it
job should be a lot easier.
much easier.
It should be, I mean, if I'm doing it correctly.
And just to clarify, we do depreciate assets in our system. However, it takes a long time because they're not tagged, assets have been misplaced, so it's hard for us to know to do it exactly correctly all the time.
We stopped tracking them sometime after 2016.
Yes.
We picked them up in 2015, I was here. We stopped tracking them in 2017 when the OMB office imploded. That's a fact. I'm not making that up.
And we should be doing this annually, right? We should.
Well,
Every
this is not-
department head should get their asset list and they don't have to
And you
check it.
continue, that's
Right.
the mistake that was made is we didn't continue.
Right,
You're a retired state employee.
yeah,
That was a given. Every
Oh,
year
yeah.
you were gonna get a list and you had to go find
Right.
everything on that list.
Right.
And then at that time, it didn't matter. I mean, I saw the same thing. You have vehicles in a fleet and you go and check the mileage and the mileage has changed not from one year to the next. Then you have to tell yourself, can we justify having it in the fleet if it's just sitting there collecting dust and we're paying insurance? That's all it is, and that's all we're really talking about. So, is this a good bang for the buck? $14,500 to get this done, plus whatever little incidentals. The answer is absolutely yes.
so I will
Well,
move that we
wait.
approve the contract with RCI for the fixed asset inventory and management update.
Are we also adding the real estate? Yeah, that's part of that.
That's part of it.
Okay, making sure, I know it was an additional cost, but it's worth it.
I will agree with, I think, with everything everybody is saying, it's a mess.
Yeah.
And I don't know I don't even know where to start, you know, yeah, like where, yes, so I think it's. You give me a year to kind of learn the system and know what's going on and how to, you know, adjust and take off.
And Laura, I'd like to volunteer to help you with that, because I'm real familiar with asset management and stuff.
I have a motion and I have a second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
I,
Thank you. Agenda item number 11. Again, Mr. Rodriguez, Lone Star Strategy Group.
thank you for doing that. For coming up and.
So in this file, we have some grants that, some of them are not open, but they will be open. I think we wanna start looking at those and, you know, we don't wanna hear the last minute grant things. You know, these are ahead of time and it can allow us to plan. So the first one you'll see is actually the County Essentials Grant. And that one helps with services such as like support, etc. The second one is just a big list of many of these grants that are all coming from the Office of the Governor. Many of them are not open, but to Judge Portillo's point, last Commissioners Court meeting, these are a lot of those grants and opportunities that are coming from this new legislative session that boosts that Homeland Security fund, whatever. And then the last one, it's just a legislative actual bill that helps counties receive a ambulance under that fund. Right here online, we have Ms. Yvette Utley, the president of Lone Star Strategy Group, as well as Samson Rodriguez, which is also another team representative, and she can kind of dive into those.
Well, I just want to comment, the county doesn't run ambulance services.
Yeah, she could probably dive into that.
Good morning,
There-
Judge, Commissioners. We wanted to bring this agenda item to Commissioners Court because I know y'all are, you know, in the middle of budget season. There are talks about new grant opportunities coming up for the FY 25-26 year. As you know, the legislative session just wrapped up. I was in Austin 2 weeks ago to get updates and also to meet with the Comptroller's Office, TDA, and several other agencies at Representative Guillen's office. So the Comptroller's Office did come in personally and discuss House Bill 3000 with us. And that is the rural EMS grant funding. So because of Presidio's size, y'all will be eligible for 500,000. And while you do not have your own ambulance service that you pay for, does the county, I guess, have a contract with the vendor that helps with this?
We contract with each city.
Yeah, with the EMS.
So the municipalities in our area, they run their own ambulatory services and we have interlocal cooperation agreements with them.
Okay, so even with
Yes.
this was brought up because I was there with 2 other county judges and both of them are contracted with either like an ESD or with a private vendor. So the county would basically, Blair, you would help draw up some type of MOU or understanding where the county will receive the funding to purchase this ambulance, and this ambulance would be belong to the county, but you would allow whoever helps run your EMS services use this ambulance. If y'all prefer not to go with an ambulance, if there is already an ambulance that is being currently used or a couple of them, you can also opt to use this funding to upgrade these ambulances or ambulance. So that is going to be.
Ambulance.
Go ahead.
And they're owned by the city.
Yes, if that's who y'all are contracted with, the county can purchase the ambulance, and then there would just be an MOU with the city that they're using this vehicle that belongs to the county. Once they're done with it, it comes back to the county. In other words, they can never, sell it
No,
or?
no, no. It's different. Say the county doesn't wanna own an ambulance, because that's an added liability, can we either use the funds to give to the city so they can do upgrades to their ambulances, or can we buy an ambulance and donate it or gift it to a city?
That is something we would have to take up to the comptroller's office. I'm
Okay.
giving you the very basic that was brought up during that meeting. We have till January 1st to apply for these funds. It's a first come, first serve. I believe they are about 5 million shy of being able to fund everyone. So I would like us to do our homework and ask all these questions before then, so that we are one of the first applications put in. If we're getting a free $500,000, I'd rather find a way to make it work than ways not to make it work. I know in the past, there's been, different sides of the table here for whatever reasons. We're trying to bring in money for you all, and I know that there are gonna be concerns and questions, but at the end of the day, we would like to help you all get this 500,000 and use it the best way, whether it's to help the city with the ambulance service that still services the county, or like you said, help the county get a vehicle, and then in turn, we will have to see what the comptroller agrees to with, I don't know if gifting is going to be an option, but that's something that a discussion we can have with the office. And I do have a point of contact for that was at the meeting. So Blair, we could have a meeting with them and bring up these concerns that you have.
Yeah, if you could please ask them about the county, because the county doesn't run ambulatory and doesn't have an appetite for doing it. If you can ask them if it's possible for the county to just gift the funds over or gift the ambulance over to a municipality, that would be, I think, a beautiful thing. But if not, then this might not be a fit for us, to just be added liability.
Got it.
Ramon, have you talked with our emergency management coordinator about this?
And I knew you would be here and this is why we're pretty much discussing,
Okay,
seeing if we have any.
okay.
There's a pitfall here that I'm worried about, and this is exactly why we should have bolstered up the auditor's office. I'm reading the act right now, HB 3000 that passed, and it's just for counties, so it's not for cities. The county can do this, but the thing is, this is also just like SB 22. The rules are not defined and won't be until after January 1 by the comptroller's office, which means it's gonna be a giant ball of red tape for us. And if we had staffed our auditor's office with a person who could do this, I would be much more confident in entering into something like this. However, what we've opted to do is not do that. And so we have these opportunities now that we can already have bad regrets about, because we can't handle it. And I don't see anybody at this table who's gonna run it themselves. So it's really disappointing, once again, if we just passed the budget, I'm already disappointed in what we didn't do to get our act together, so we could do something like this that presented to us at the last minute. And because there's so many X factors and red flags here, and it's something that clearly both communities would want access to. And if we had an ESD like we actually should get eventually, then we could work with that, but we don't have that right now, so we can fight over north versus south again and again, since that's how people like it, right? So here we go. But I don't think we can do this thing. We need to wait maybe for the second year, but it could probably be possible, because we don't have the infrastructure to run something like this. Thanks to the folks that decided that we didn't need to do this.
I would, and here's the unfortunate part, the way the state wrote it is for counties. I do think you can make an argument that there would probably be some exemption that's gonna be created for, well, we don't have, we're not in the EMS business, but we do, part of our funding, part of our general budget goes to support the city of Martin, the city of the city. I know that. I know that for the city of EMS struggles, it takes up 25% of the budget. I know I read a comment that Mayor Baeza made that, he would like more funding. The truth is that EMS is very expensive. We travel great distances to get here. It's talking about what a food desert or what a EMS desert is. And it talks about a trauma center. And What's our nearest trauma center? Odessa? Niven, is it El Paso? It's huge. But at some point, I would, if I were the mayor or if I were a city administrator, I'd be coming to the county, I'd say, you know what? And I've said this before, I'm responsible for 5 square miles, 6 square miles. You guys are giving us a couple of nickels. 60,000 in the case of Martha, 120,000 in the case of Presidio. And you're asking us to cover the other 3,990 miles, and it's not fair. And you guys need to step up, so you bring up ESD. I will tell you, those are conversations, and I would encourage you to visit with Judge Hennington, visit with Judge Hedges, because they have the appetite to create tri-county ESD. These are conversations we're having because it is something at some point we're gonna have to figure out how to do it. Would it one, does it make better sense to have one administrative office that's running all the EMS services and that can move these assets back and forth? Is it a big hill to climb? Absolutely it is. But at some point, again, if I were a city mayor or I were a city administrator, I'd be saying, this ain't fair. This ain't fair, break up.
Well, what are you saying?
Joe, I want to clarify, because I met with Mayor Baeza yesterday.
Yeah.
He wasn't necessarily saying he wants more money, he wants parity between.
It's the same argument both ways.
Yeah.
We're stuck in the
Yeah,
middle.
yeah.
We don't win this tough part.
Right. He did not, he knows we don't have more money.
It's been so nice. It's been so nicely this year for us to enjoy it like we are getting to now.
Right.
And
Thank
we
you,
can-
Judge.
No, and we can talk about points, if you wanna talk about. Points. It's from Candelaria, frankly, but let's say right, because I have my valuable here. It's 16 miles from Presidio to Red. And if they need EMS services, they gotta go 16 miles one way, they gotta come back 16 miles. That's up there, our road is not paved. The ambulance can't go through there, it's only paved halfway. So now it has to come all the way back. Now you're already at 36 miles. Then you still gotta get to Alpine. So now you're looking at another 89 miles. So once you get there and you get situated, you get everybody, you get the person off the ambulance, you get them attended to. Now you gotta make your way back 90 miles. That's the reason there's a difference in when you look at the shelf life of an ambulance that's gonna, and we're not even talking kind of value, which is 50 miles. That's a whole nother thing. So again, you're looking at 50 miles one way, 50 miles back, 90 miles up, whatever that number is, 800 miles up, and then you gotta come back from 60 miles.
And that's what a district would be able to look at, Joe. But you've got, and believe me, I know those distances down there, but let's also present the entire county, because I know that the Marfa ambulance runs all the way to Lobo, goes down Chispa Road, which is unpaved, so there, it's a lot of the similarities are in place. The mayor mentioned that a lot of times they have to meet the Presidio ambulance at Elephant Rock.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is a talk for next budget season, because I think there does need to be more parity there. So to get focused back on what Ramon is asking us, I'm saying that, Ramon, if you don't mind, really wise for you to.
I'm wondering, is there an online portal?
Director, and because Gary has a good feel for both. And see, and if we can get the answers to the questions of, if it's only for counties, and as Blair has asked, how do we help both cities? That's what the county's supposed to do, is bring people together. Your agenda item said, discussion regarding potential grant opportunities and input from the commissioners. I don't think this is the venue to have that. I would love to schedule a meeting with you sometime and just sit down with you. And I think you should do that with each commissioner. I know that y'all tried to do that with the department heads. And I know that McKinstry took the information there and then went down to the annex and figured out numbers and all that. But I think that if you're wanting input from the commissioners, that would come much better on a one-on-one meeting and not take up the commissioner's court time.
I think.
Oh, may I add something, Commissioner? Every time Realm comes up, there's an issue of transparency. There's an issue of what Lone Star is doing, that we're very vague on our reporting. And we're trying to bring this to light, that we're bringing an agenda item that really should be, you're right, set in a, more of a workshop setting. But I don't believe
Right.
that this is something we should do one-on-one. And the reason I say this is because, I mean, let's be real. I mean, I'm an outsider, but when it comes down to the issues happening in Presidio County, it is kind of, we're kind of in the middle of this. And we are here to do a service, what we promised to do. And that's why we're trying to bring it to Commissioners Court. So we have these discussions, and, you know, we're asked to submit a request if we can apply for a grant and where the match money is going to come from. This is what we come to Commissioners Court to do, our work for you all. But we keep getting shot down on any idea we bring our funding mechanism because of whatever's going on over there politically. We want to help you all. We're saying there's 500,000. If we want to give 250,000 to Marfa and 250,000 to Presidio, to the cities for their equipment to improve ambulances, let's do this. It's not about who's getting credit or Lone Star looking good or not good. We're here to do something, and we're being paid for it. And I feel like we're being really constrained, and it's being taken out on Ramon, who's our local representative, who we're actually creating a job for, someone in Presidio County. And it's the one-on-one is going to be misconstrued, because we can come to you and you're going to say, I said this, and we can take it to a commissioner from Presidio or Commissioner Beebe, and it's all going to get misconstrued on what was said or not said. And that transparency goes out the window. And then we're put on blast on your local paper saying that, what is Lone Star doing, not being transparent and being vague? I don't appreciate that, because we're trying to be transparent, and we're trying to let the commissioners know and the public know that we're here bringing you funding opportunities, and all everyone can find is a way not to receive this funding, in a way of, I think, maybe sabotaging us working for the county. And I want to bring it to Commissioners Court. I don't want Ramon to go one-on-one with anyone, because I don't know what that's going to be like if it's behind closed doors. I mean, are we going to have recorded conversations so that it can be brought to Commissioners Court to defend my firm? I don't think that's really fair. We're not even down the list, and this happens in every county we represent. We bring this to Commissioners Court, an agenda item like this, and it's well received, and everyone has input on where the funding needs to come from, if there is match money, if there's not match money. And that was something, a stipulation that you put on us a few months back, that do not bring us anything that does have a match amount, because we don't have it. So here we are bringing you a funding that doesn't allow for a match. We don't need any kind of match. And there's still a problem with that. And I need to know, moving forward, how you feel that meeting one-on-one with each commissioner is going to create that transparency that you all are asking for.
So that's your interpretation of it, and I may not agree with some of it. I may agree with some of it. But when I'm looking at this agenda item, it's saying potential grant opportunities with input from Commissioners Court on funding priorities. I thought that the workshop was a good idea, but once again, if you put all 4 commissioners and the judge into one room, that is a quorum. And that violates the open meetings. So that's why I'm recommending maybe having discussions one-on-one. And I don't think anyone's throwing Ramon under the bus. I think we all appreciate who he is and what he does. Give us more information, Ramon, about the ambulance, and please do meet with our emergency management coordinator. And, you know, I'm all for splitting it in half for Presidio and Marfa, but we need to know if we can do that.
Ramon, I've got a specific request. I run a grant through Comptroller's office in Bears. They love to write their own rules. They change to every grant. Whenever you do meet with them, if you can ask them for the county, if it's possible to either gift the money, which I think is probably for them to be a no-go if I know the comptroller's office. Or for the county to take the money into the budget by which they pay for the interlocal agreement, so that it's not a gift, it's the payment that the county needs to pay the interlocal agreement contract, rather than the funds going directly to buying the vehicle or, you know.
Blair, that is not accepted. That was already brought up in that meeting. And I wish you would direct the questions to me because I'm the one that had the meeting with the comptroller's office. I know that Ramon does work for me and he's there, but that's why I'm on this meeting. That was asked and no, that is not going to be eligible. It has to either be an ambulance or improvements to the ambulance where we actually have invoices that we need to submit to them.
And an ambulance that's owned by the county.
Well, the ambulance is just gifted to the county, yes, or to improve even vendors' ambulances that are serving the county. So when I hear that, that means that Marfa and Presidio, if they're the ones providing the services, can upgrade their ambulances as long as they submit those invoices on the equipment that was upgraded, that we can then submit to the comptroller's office.
The only reason we're having a problem with this entire situation is that we did not fund a person in our auditor's office to run these grants.
Right.
And that's the bottom, that's like, that's our problem for the whole year. Like, that is not a problem for tomorrow, it's a problem for the rest of the year. And that was a decision made by this commissioner's court. I didn't agree with it, because if we wanna do this stuff, we actually have to figure out a way to do it. And what we decided to do instead is to talk about dreaming that we could do this stuff, but not actually facilitate a way to do it. So like, we don't have the 1 + 1 = 2 in place to do this stuff. That's just the bottom line. And like, so unfortunately, talking about these dreams and some of these things we desperately need, but we've kind of blown it. We blew it.
So just looking at this, I just glanced at this and money has to go toward ambulances one way or another. And cannot, the money that the county has budgeted for the ambulance services cannot be.
Yeah, services are.
Yeah,
Not
you can't use
eligible,
it.
correct.
Nor
Correct.
can you take that budgeted money out of your budget, take the place of that money. In other words, what you're paying each city for ambulance service has to continue. This is above and beyond that, and it has to go toward an ambulance from Blau. I just glanced at it. It's hard to read this and listen to y'all at the same time.
Yeah, and that's my fear is that it would become too difficult for us to try to take money and spread it to ambulances we don't.
It's yeah, how we do that, I don't know if it gets into those details here, that again is.
Well, we ran into this with SB 22, the same thing with the county attorney's office and the sheriff's office and the constables. You get a plain language, it sounds simple, it sounds with the best of intentions, and then as soon as a bureaucrat touches it,
Yep.
they start making rules. So we don't even know the rules.
They don't even
Like
have-
me, I have a question. First glance, it's an ambulance, that's what they're saying, buy an ambulance. Is this a one time? Is this gonna open up next year? Is this gonna continue? Could we buy one ambulance from Marfa and then the next year we buy an ambulance for Presidio? Is this a rotating thing we could look at? Oh, so I wanna take advantage of the complete, and an ambulance just costs $500,000. That's exactly what it costs. In some cases, it costs even more, depending on what you wanted to do. I was driving up north the other day. And right at Cibolo Creek Ranch, right there was the Marfa ambulance. And what was following a Mexican ambulance? I have a picture of it in my phone. It was a Cruz Roja ambulance. And it was being followed by Customs and Border Protection. And they met there. And what was it? It was an American citizen that had a heart attack in Mexico. He wanted to be transported. That Presidio ambulance was already in Alpine. And the Marfa ambulance came down, picked them up. They made the transfer there at Cibolo Creek Ranch. The Marfa ambulance continued on behalf of Presidio, took the patient to the hospital. And then as I continued north on my trip, what I run into coming south is a Presidio ambulance. So as we sit here and we have this discussion regarding Marfa versus Presidio, the reality is EMS guys, the guys that are in the ambulance themselves, all they know is they're taking care of somebody.
they dedicated their life to that service and they want it and they want to do it and they get joy out of it. So they're gonna go wherever they're called. We're the ones that put rules and regulations on them and we make it difficult for them to understand. The bigger things that I'm saying about the city of Marfa and City of Presidio is they have limited budgets. It's a huge responsibility that they've taken on. At some point, whether it's an emergency services district or taking advantage of grants that come up, I think you at least have to look at it. Anyway, this was just input only, so it was just discussion. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Ramon.
Yes, you will.
Do you want it say up there for number 12?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's a discussion action to accept the resolution to apply for the RCOG, Real COG Solid Waste Grant Program for FY 26.
Yes, so this grant is coming from the Riverside Council of Governments. This one is the one that was on the last Commissioners Court meeting, but it had to be tabled because there was some sort of change with the resolution according to TCEQ standards. So Ms. Marisa Quintanilla held that workshop here in Marfa. I was the only one who attended, besides just other city officials from Alpine and Presidio. But there she did, kind of gave me an overview of what it is and all that, to come in and let the commissioners know. And I do have the corrected resolution. What it needed was an actual part or segment where the county clerk can add their name and signature, just to justify for meeting minutes and all. So basically, I'll just give a quick overview again to the public. This one is a solid waste grants program. As you may have heard, the county was awarded last, I believe last cycle for this funding. It was not a Lone Star grant. This was when I was working for the county judge. But when I had written that grant, I split it evenly between Marfa and Presidio. But in the end, I think the funding was rerouted or Commissioner BP was in that meeting. And that's kind of a project that was done in Presidio to clean up all those extra tires that are in people's homes, taking up space, breeding grounds for mosquitoes, infection, whatever, right? And it was a very successful project. The city of Presidio had applied for it as well, and then the county did as well. So they were very grateful for that help. It allowed them to pick up even more. So they're very grateful. The only other change is that the pool of funding, instead of 88,976, it was increased to 90,000. They had a surplus from the last one. So that's the total pool of funds. It'll depend on what we want to ask for, and await, what.
How much would we be asking for, Ramon?
So I want to bring this up to the Commissioners Court as any other item, because again, these are public taxpayer dollars, and I like for the public and the community to know, what's going on in the county Commissioners Court. But also what projects we're working on. And I think to Commissioner Heisler's point on the transparency part, this is where we can discuss. To Commissioner Beebe's point on who's gonna do the work, these are the discussions that we can start having for whatever project we're gonna work.
So how much are we asking for?
This is,
We don't know yet?
No,
It depends,
Okay.
I'm sorry, Jen.
we did. I don't have the number, but I believe it was 10,000, they granted us 9 something.
Oh.
It was about, yeah, and the city, I don't know what the.
Can't increase, but like every year if you reapply. I know Rio Quad does that with some grants where if you've had it the year before, then you either have to stay that amount or.
No.
Okay.
No, so this is just the pool funding and whatever's
Yeah, whoever asks for it gets a portion of it. It's like
Right.
you're pretty much awarded if you ask.
Right,
And
that's
not
what the
everybody
Boca grant,
asks, like, that's the thing, you have to ask.
right, that's what the Boca grant is, but Rio Cog has a sustainability requirement and what you ask for the year prior. You get either 20% less the next time. Or if you're under a threshold amount, in my case 50,000, then it can stay, but you can't increase. So I was just curious if that was one of those Rio Cog grants where.
Yeah, no, during that workshop, that was brought up during that, there's also no match for anything.
Awesome.
This is basically a distribution of the monies when you go get a new set of tires and then the guy behind the counter says, and it's gonna be so much to get rid of your old tires.
Yeah.
Now, how the state distributes it, it's not equal in all parts, right?
Right.
What I will tell you is it's El Paso County, Hudspeth, Culberson, Jeff Davis, Castillo counties. Those are the 5 counties that are gonna have this 90,000. To Commissioner Beebe's point is sometimes Hudspeth will put in for it, sometimes they won't. It just depends on how many tires they have. I do know the city of El Paso opts out, so the 90,000 is usually distributed between the rural counties. So what could it be? It could be 9,000, it could be 15,000, it could be whatever. Nobody throws their name in the hat, it could be 90,000. So it just depends.
And so I wanted to bring this up, one other thing that I'll let you know is this one is due October 3rd, 1 p.m. Central Time. So we know we still have some time, but it would be good to kind of discuss, is the tire thing something I want to work on? Or since the funds were allocated to Presidio, we want to do a product here market. These are one of the things that we want to see.
Yeah, you mentioned the city of Presidio had a grant.
Yes.
Did the city of Marfa have a grant
Yeah.
too? So they both had it.
Yes.
But I know Presidio is doing a lot of good work on their cleanup right now. Okay.
So, just so you know, because we have to do, for Rio Call grants, we have to do resolutions, they're required through the OMG's office. So, please try to make a decision today, because the next meeting will be the only time that we can run a resolution.
Okay. So this meeting, did we get notice of it? Because I didn't know about
Yes,
it.
but I meant to go, I was on my way there, but I got. My daughter did not have there that day, I thought she was, I was gonna go, I could not take her to that meeting, there's no way.
So
Yeah, I tried to go, but I was out of town.
Commissioner DP was on the email list, and I believe Judge Cortez as well, but I did report it as well, the date and time, last, previous program.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think, I saw you write down that you were gonna go.
I'm always writing down stuff. Right. But I got a lot handed to me after the last commissioner's court. so-
Yeah, actually, you should contact Marisa and have her put you on all those images.
Yeah,
On most of them, but it's taken time, you get added incrementally and like over the years.
I have her email address too, if you like.
Yeah.
She sent it to me.
Yeah, I had intention of attending that meeting, but I just couldn't make it.
So,
And I also have the presentation of different piece of our.
no. So basically, we kind of saw this resolution at the last meeting.
Yes.
And you just had to table it because you made a few changes,
Yes,
right?
so
Yeah.
that resolution, so basically the first, the original one, it was just the authorized. Representative, which would be the county judge. But no, we have to add the county clerk as well.
Okay.
Signature.
I'm gonna move that we accept the resolution for Lone Star Strategy Group to apply for the Rio Cog Solid Waste Grant Program for FY 26 on behalf of Presidio County.
I'll second.
Motion second, all in favor?
It looks like there's more to this.
And
Are we approving, and I move that we approve Lone Star Strategy Group to apply for the Rio Cog Solid Waste Grant Program for FY 26 on behalf of Presidio County, so they were two.
That's the double bid.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was, they were both merged in the same language.
okay, so I'm moving that we approve that,
Okay, I'll second that as well.
okay.
and all in favor?
Thank you, Ramon.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 13, discussion with action to amend the Presidio County travel policy. To include no fuel mileage reimbursement for elected officials, department heads for travel within the Tri-County area.
Yes, sir. This has been discussed throughout the budget process. Some other budgets were cut to remove that funding. This is an amendment to the policy that it states that the county will not reimburse for mileage within the Tri-County area for elected officials or department heads doing county business. An example is travel to the courthouse in Marfa from Presidio or travel from Presidio to the courthouse in Marfa. It's a very simple change.
I move that we approve the amendment to the Presidio County travel policy to include no fuel mileage reimbursement for elected officials and department heads for travel within the Tri-County area effective today.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye. Thank you, Alicia.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Agenda item number 14, discussion with action to add a cell phone to road and bridge department.
Yes, so I asked Ruben to submit this, because I don't really agree with adding a phone line to his budget, because Road and Bridge Department does not deal with the public. Our officials or employees that have a cell phone deal with public business. He did mention that his assistant, being a council member, has to be out of her office, which is a conflict in itself with working county hours and then her leaving to do city business. I'm not sure how all that's working. He wants to add a cell phone because with our new phone deal with BBT, one of the pros we get is you can download the BBT app into your phone and get those calls directly to your cell phone if you're not in the office. I mean, that's optional. Employees are not obligated to download any app or answer any phone calls that are not during work business hours. So that's optional. He did request me to bring this to you guys. I'm not sure if it's online or not. If you have any questions for him, Bianca is okay not having a cell phone herself.
Yeah, cause can't she do this
To
with
her
her
cell phone?
personal phone?
Yeah, I mean, I've got the BBT app and I get calls.
We can
like-
all do
Right.
that.
But he didn't feel it was fair for her to have to download that. Bianca does not need to do that.
Well, she doesn't need to get paid for the hours she's not working, so that's a matter, if she wants to be working, she downloads the app on her phone so she can be working when she doesn't.
Right,
It's really more about like, are you working or are you not at work?
right.
I think this was brought on by her boss. Bianca does not.
She does make a motion to deny the cell phone for work.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Agenda item number 15, County Sheriff Danny Dominguez, discussion with action to approve an agreement with the Bravo Clinic to provide primary medical care services to inmates of the Pursuit County Jail.
This
You
is the
get-
same contract.
Can you introduce yourself so that everyone knows how great you are?
I'm Andrea, honors the gentleman for Severe County Jail. This is the same contract we bring to Commissioner Square every year, just this year the language is a little different because they're interviewing that. Our clinic is now Bravo Clinic. I do believe some of the rates fluctuated, some went down from last year. What I'm noticing, other than that, everything is business as usual with the clinic.
I don't know, I didn't get the contract in time to review it, so I don't know. So, what changed?
What, has our county attorney seen any of these?
I got it on Friday, but I haven't had time.
Can we table that one to the next meeting? I move that we table this one to the next meeting.
Okay, and just for a quick overview, you mentioned that it looks like, for the most part, the fees actually went down.
Yes, sir.
Do you have a percentage or is it a dollar amount?
Like a few cents.
Okay. And so I have a motion to table it,
I'll second.
motion second to table, all in favor? Sorry about that.
I got this contract back from Bravo as well. Price.
How was the clinic group? I know it's under new management, I know that the company that's doing.
What about the next one?
You know, I see, only on that part. It's been okay.
I know, nurse practitioner is actually my wife's best friend.
She did mention that to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know she's coming down here and I know she's a great, she has a lot of experience. I wish the clinic the best of luck. I hope we do well.
They're doing great service for us.
Good, I'm glad.
Okay.
I'm glad. So agenda item number 16, discussion with action to approve Fastlight LLC placement agreement for the Pursuit County Jail. This is a mandate under the Sandra Bland Act, which is to provide services 24/7 regarding elemental and telemedical health services.
This is another one I haven't had a time to work on. The contract that was submitted is effective in 2020, so it's an older one, so it does need to be, it does need to be updated. And the Sandra Bland Act, I think, has been updated since then, so it's probably gonna need more updating than just the date. So is it okay to wait till the next one on this one?
I think we should postpone because I can see, I'm reading it to you and the dates are way off. So I think we need to review it.
What will be the effective
If that's
date?
okay. Well, the effective dates here, it says that.
I know, May
effective-
2020,
May
but what's the
1st,
real
2020.
effective date? October 1st?
Okay.
Sorry, guys, it's really off. Is that okay? If we push it back to the next meeting? I don't wanna like cause a problem.
No, it's fine. I'm on
Okay.
vacation with them too, so it's.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to postpone this item to the next meeting.
I second,
Motion to postpone, I have a second, all in favor?
aye.
Thank you, sorry. about
It's
that.
okay.
So I'm gonna ask the question again. All of the other items, has Blair been able to review?
All of them but one.
Which
That's
one?
what county.
Yeah, all of them but one, the last one, so we can.
20?
So you're good on the next one, the next one,
Okay,
the next one,
And then please.
yeah,
I'm saying, alright. I'll get in, you're gonna have to fight it.
so you can keep going.
okay, 17.
Okay, so I'll move on to agenda item number 17, discussion with action to approve the software license and service agreement between ProSuite, Central Square and Presidio County.
This is the contract that is here. Where are bill management?
It's not really a contract, it's an invoice, so I didn't
Is that
figure
your
all
all
that.
Yes, it did right. So it did change.
It's a yearly invoice.
Yeah, but it did change, and it's not the same. Yeah, this is a little bit here.
Yeah.
This is $14,858.97. Okay,
And Andrea, you feel confident that you have the money in your budget for next fiscal year that will easily be able to cover this?
Yeah, she didn't have it for that.
Okay. I'm gonna move that we approve the software license and service agreement between ProSuite, Central Square and Presidio County.
I have a motion.
I'm sorry.
I have a second. Ms. Park, did you want to say anything about it? You said you were.
No, this is an invoice, it's not a real contract, I looked at it, there's nothing glaring about it, so.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Agenda item number 18, discussion with action to approve a contract for jail confinement services between the City of Presidio Police Department, Presidio, Texas, and Presidio County, Texas.
This was one that I just rewrote completely, so it's good.
Thank you, Brandon.
In your opinion, in your humble opinion. There you go.
I'm gonna move that we approve a contract for jail confinement services between the City of Presidio Police Department, Presidio, Texas, and Presidio County, Texas.
Okay. I have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Agenda item number 19, discussion with action to approve a contract for jail confinement services between the City of Marfa Police Department, Marfa, Texas, and Presidio County, Texas.
Same dance, same song, second verse.
Same contract, but for the city of Marfa,
Okay,
exactly the same.
I move that we approve a contract for jail confinement services between the City of, Marfa. I almost said Presidio then, Police Department, Marfa, Texas, and Presidio County, Texas.
I'm sorry. I have a motion.
I have a question on both these.
Yeah.
Really, for you. I understand that these contracts allow for Class C owners, I also understand that. At least, my understanding is that. The county. Does not. Incarcerate for Class C unless it's like PIs or assault, like really. So. What's the thinking? I don't have a problem with whatever you want to do. But what is the sheriff's office position on that, the PD being able to do that, the sheriff's office not really being able to do that? How does that work? Or does it matter? It doesn't really matter to me, I just know that, I remember that, if I issued a Class C warrant in my JP office, the person was not gonna get that. Whereas if the municipal court judge issues one, the person will get picked up. And is that because they're gonna reimburse us, and so is the money issue, we'll get paid for it? Cause I was also the municipal court judge at the same time I was the JP, so I could put on a different hat and issue a warrant. And get someone incarcerated. I'm just curious, what do you see? You see this even happening around? It doesn't happen.
No,
So-
like the city police department procedure, we don't know.
We don't.
Anybody in plastic.
Right, it's
No,
not working.
no, or we can issue a ticket and then somebody takes it out.
Okay, so it stays the same as it always has.
Yeah.
Okay, it's just an operational question. I didn't know if we had changed the way we handle this. If I'm okay with the way we've been doing it.
The contract applies to any inmates brought by the city. Usually police department, but any law officer that's operating with the city, regardless of where the warrant came from. So if the warrant came from a JP or from a magistrate, that does not matter for purposes of the contract. Any
Right.
inmate that comes in, that's under the class C and under the city, covers, is governed by this agreement.
Okay.
But how it works practically within, I don't know.
I think I understand that. I don't have a real concern about it.
I think it's just a mechanism where a chief of police says, yeah, we're not gonna be sending anybody to the county jail.
Yeah, it's gonna be their
Because,
decision,
yeah,
but
we're
the
gonna,
contract does need to be in place because they don't have any other place to jail class Cs. Without.
I agree, and
Yeah.
there are instances, rare as they may be, there are instances where you have a class C misdemeanor and they gotta go to jail.
Yeah.
That's true.
I've seen one class C assault.
Yeah.
It's not very
They-
often, but every once in a while you'll get a class C that's something
Yeah.
more than just traffic.
That's right. It sometimes happens.
I bet you could count maybe in less than one, hand, just a couple of fingers, how many times the contract was actually triggered. In its history.
Okay, so we have a motion a second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye. Thanks for answering the question, sorry.
And you said you needed time to do 20, it's the Hudson County?
Yes, so I got those on Friday, like Bravo has on Friday. Because they weren't in Word agreement, I had to have my assistant convert them to Word, and he just sent me the last one at 11:34, so 10 minutes ago. It's just taking a long time to convert them because they're 4 scans, so whenever you try to convert them, it turns into one, so. Sorry for the delay, but it's just taking us time to get the contracts for.
So,
I move that we table item number 20.
I'll say.
I have a motion and second to table, all in favor?
But before Andrea leaves us. Do you have something to announce?
I do, I have a little announcement.
Thank you.
The Marshall contract premium rate was approved, that we gave them of $107 for the and transfer rate 2040. When are you bringing that one? Sorry. Probably November 1st. The start date? Okay. Yeah, that's me everything.
That's an increase from 88.
$88.
Almost that, so about a 20-25%.
Doesn't solve our problem, but it certainly helps it.
Well,
Is
and
the contract one that's brought by the US Marshal Service? Okay, I think the contracts, they're pretty good, they still bring it to me, but I won't be able to read it right away. Okay.
and please thank Mr. Summerall for
Yeah.
helping us on that.
We already did 21. So we'll move on to department reports, for discussion with action to approve Muskegon County Department reports of county clerk, county district clerk's report, capital project manager's report, tax assessor report, justice of the peace report precinct 1, justice of the peace precinct 2, Martha EMS and fire report, Presidio EMS and fire report, the jail report, sheriff's office report, emergency management report, and airport report.
And Karina, we received all of them.
Yes, Mom,
Thank you. I'm gonna move that we approve the Presidio County Department reports.
I'll say.
Motion and second, all in favor? So we'll move on to agenda item number 23, administrative updates and announcements from the county judge and commissioners. Commissioner Beebe?
I have so much, so I can't even start, so nothing.
Okay, Commissioner Hernandez? No. Commissioner,
Yeah, I have a lot and I'm gonna start. So, I have been working closely with the Presidio County Golfing Committee. And with, the Marfa 4-H on. You don't just defund something and there's not a lot of footwork to it, as both Florida and Alicia can attest to. So I have been working, getting all of the utilities transferred to the golfing committee into Marfa 4-H, and that means we canceled the dumpsters at Vizcayano and at the golf course. We have, as of yesterday, transferred the water bills to the city of Marfa, from the city of Marfa to the golfing committee and to the Marfa 4-H. The phone at the pro shop and the internet has been transferred to the golfing committee. And my next move is to start working on the gigantic electrical, but Floricita is helping me with that. Blair and I will be meeting on Thursday to start discussing the short-term contract language. We are going to enter into short-term contracts with the Marfa 4-H for the ag barn and for the roping arena. And we're entering into a short-term contract with the Presidio County Golfing Committee for not only the golf course, but they have graciously agreed to help us with Vizcayano Park. We have, the intent is to, and of course, these contracts will come in front of Commissioner's Court, but the intent is to enter into these short-term contracts while Blair and I are working on the overall RFP. We have had a lot of wonderful people step forward, and I really appreciate y'all helping me through this dance. We also have volunteers, I'm happy to report, that are working on the Vizcayano, all of the management for that, because y'all will have your hands full with the golf course. I'm waiting, Los Yonki Gallos, Cody's gonna help me with that. And so they're looking at the garbage removal, since the dumpsters will be gone. I met with the city of Marfa, and they are going to allow us to put the trash bags in those 55-gallon barrels. And excuse me, we can dump those at the 2 dumpsters by City Hall. Then Ann Dunlap with Christopher's has said that we can use her dumpster as well. And we can use her personal one at her house. So I'll give y'all that address. We also have county dumpsters over here. And excuse me?
Yes.
Yeah, but those get used by so many other county departments. That's why I'm trying to identify all these other dumpsters. We have individuals that are doing some graphic artwork to create posters and postcards that identify who in the community is helping us to keep those gates open and where to mail contribution checks to. I'm working with a volunteer that's a birder who also likes to walk the golf course. I told her she needs to get a membership with y'all. So the intent is that we've got to protect our assets as much as we possibly can until we enter into a request for proposal. And that's why we're making sure that all our equipment's in good shape, and that we have as many people to help y'all to succeed as a golfing committee, and Lucas Salcedo to succeed with the Marfa 4-H. I don't know if y'all want to speak to any of this. I realize it's just my administrative update, but if there's something that is burning within you that you want to talk about, feel free. Please.
All right, awesome. Well, yeah. I think under the circumstances, I'm gonna focus on how we got there. What matters is that we are going forward, and that's what we're gonna do. And I know that I have enough people behind me. With members and prospective members that are here and members of our surrounding community, Presidio. I have people in Fort Davis from all around Pecos. I have lots of commitment from a lot of friends that I've established over the years. And a lot of people willing to come forward to make this go through, so it's not the dire end, it's really the rebirth, because we were at the bottom. We were, and in terms of how things were operating, the only place you can go is up. And I know that I'm surrounded with people, not just willing to volunteer and do all these things, I mean, I come here on the weekends. And as I transition to being here full time, I certainly will make it my priority. Because I know we can't. We shouldn't have let it get this far, and although we are here, we're just gonna go forward, and I know that with the proposed. Business model in place, the only thing it can do is resurrect itself, and hopefully in the future. We will show what happens when you make this resourceless, and that the county will consider taking that business model forward. And know that the livelihood of it will be here for beyond our generation, and so your generation. So that it will be continue to be an asset as opposed to depreciation and throwing something away. So, just keep in mind, please come see us, don't play around with me, and you'll be able to.
I've heard you're a pretty salty golfer,
I am,
so I don't know if I play from the old man.
it's okay.
I hit it straight, I don't hit it far, but thank you so much, and I really wish you that.
It's the enjoyment of it, and not only that, but what it does, I know it's taken me so far all over this country. And it's through, by hard work and earnest, making that out in available form. But not just me, just speaking to Woody County and it's. They really enjoy it. It is the prettiest jam. Around. And Marfa is the destination and it's gonna continue to grow. So why not take that with us? Good for you. And so, coming on strong. Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you, Philip. I also want to mention that part of defunding the golf course in Vizcaino meant that we lost 3 of our very valued employees that have been with us for many years. Mario Ontiveros is in the crowd with us. 2 of them were eligible for retirement, but 1 wasn't, and that was very difficult for me to have conversations with each of you. But I appreciate your graciousness that you offered me, Mario, when I had to deliver that message. So thank you, sir. Other than that, I have a Zoom call with the city of Marfa in El Cosmico today, and we're gonna be talking about utilities that El Cosmico is getting from the city of Marfa. That's it.
I'll keep mine short. Alfredo Sosa Baeza, 94 years old. He was a veteran of World War II and the Korean Wars. He passed away Monday in El Paso, last Monday. His family is going to be having a service for him in El Paso as yet to be determined. His final wishes are to be cremated and buried at the Portland Cemetery, so those arrangements are being made. But his thoughts and prayers to him and his family. So, any other?
Yeah.
Please.
I'm not a commissioner, so I shouldn't.
No, you're
This
fine.
should be my face.
Please.
But I think a lot of people know about this, but I haven't publicly announced it, so I just want to let everyone know that I'm shortly coming up on taking leave, that I am 5 months pregnant, and so shortly I'll be.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So I will be missing from some of these meetings, starting in June. I know,
Are you gonna reveal the gender?
it's a girl.
Oh.
Yeah, we had a little fight. Yes, and I just had my week anatomy scan this week and everything's perfect, everything's good.
Good for you. And any other elected officials, Yucatan? Ms. Zubia? Anything? Alicia, do you have?
No,
anything?
no, sir.
All right, so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion for Jim.
Okay. 4:51.